Good afternoon. Last class we started with a new concept that was Reformation movement. So already introduction to the Reformation movement we have discussed, and causes for the start of Reformation movement we have discussed, and also the person who started the Reformation movement, that is Martin Luther. So we also discussed about the role of Martin Luther in Reformation movement. Then the next the topic we talked, that is impact of Reformation movement, also we have discussed in the previous classes. The concept or the last topic of the lesson, that is of modern world. So that will be the concept called counter Reformation movement. So this is the last topic of the lesson, counter Reformation movement. So when we see counter Reformation movement, counter, it's nothing but one movement is started. To that movement, against we start one more movement. So that's nothing but counter Reformation movement, or counter movement we call it. Now Martin Luther has started a Reformation movement with certain aims and objectives. We can just imagine it. Okay, he has started. So to him, against his movement, a few personalities or few groups or few individual persons starts a movement. That's nothing but counter movement we call it, or counter Reformation movement we call it here. Okay, so here Reformation movement was started by Martin Luther. Against him, against Martin Luther, so counter Reformation movement was started. So here you will come to know the definition of the counter Reformation movement, then who started the counter Reformation movement, then what was the main aim of this counter Reformation movement also we will come to know, and the last topic will be impact of the counter Reformation movement also you will come to know. So when we see the definition for the counter Reformation movement, Catholic response itself says that it is a Reformation movement started by the people who belongs to a Roman Catholic or a Roman faith. A group of Roman faith started this movement. The Catholic response to Protestant movement or Protestant Reformation we call it, okay, which was started by Martin Luther. To his movement, as a response, a counter Reformation movement was started. Okay, here the very important thing is response. He started a Reformation movement. To him, we started giving a response. That response is nothing but counter Reformation movement. So this is the definition. The Catholic response. It was not in a one way. In order to make the Reformation movement as a two-way process. So one way process was continued by Martin Luther. Then one more way of response was given by the group of Catholic. He is a Protestant group. So to him, the Catholic gave a response. That response is known as counter Reformation movement. Okay, this is the definition. Then the second the point is, who started this counter Reformation movement? Now, for example, who started Reformation movement means Martin Luther, he started. Then who started this counter Reformation movement? If you see, there are three characters. The first and foremost character is, that is Pope. Okay, the superior head or the superior of the spiritual head of Roman faith. So he was Pope, and under him to carry out the mission of or the vision of a Pope, that was Bishop. So he is one more character, and under him, okay, the clergy, they are nothing but priest. So these three groups, okay, the Pope, Bishop and clergy. So together they joined and they started this counter Reformation movement. by starting this counter reformation, what was the objectives of these three? What was their objectives? What was the purpose? That purpose is nothing but aims and objectives. So in that first purpose of the movement, if you see, moral reform, all the social evils which was practiced by Roman Catholic, that will be completely, it will be banned. It's nothing but taxes, all kind of evil practices. That is moral reform. Okay, new reform or new changes that will take place in a Roman, Catholic or Roman faith. Okay, that was the first step. Then the second step, if you see, that is new missionary activities. Okay, before Protestant movement or before start of Reformation movement, what popularity a religion called a Christianity was having, the same popularity they wanted it even after the Reformation movement. So they started to think how that we can gain the lost popularity of the Roman Catholic or the Christianity religion. So they thought of starting a missionary activities. Missionary activities means making like few groups. Now for example, 10 members making one group, and that group will be sent to one particular country. So where they have to go and spread the Christianity religion. So that's how to India with the missionaries, few groups of people who came to India, they spread the Christianity religion. So in order to spread the Roman faith, okay, in order to spread the Roman faith, missionary groups or missionary activities. Okay, small groups were made, like 10 members one group, 15 members one group, or 5 members one group, and they were sent to different countries to preach about Christianity or to preach about a Roman faith. So that made the lost popularity of Christianity to get before the start of the Reformation movement. That was the second aim. The third one is new religious orders. Before, what happened? Pope, bishop and clergy. So these people, what they were doing? They were leading a life of luxury, and they were not having concern towards the welfare of the people. And their lifestyle was very, superior and very dominating the people. So that started to change. Okay, the Pope, bishop and clergy, they started to lead a very simple life. They started rendering their service to a man. They started to do a service to a sake of God, and they started giving welfare, importance to the people. Okay, that was the one more change. And the last one is traditional doctrines. Okay, what exactly the teaching of Christianity? Traditional doctrines is nothing but teachings. Okay, what exactly the teachings of Christianity started to be preached to the people of Christianity. So in that, the sale of indulgence, which was against the Roman faith, that was completely banned. So like this, the true knowledge about a religion was started to given by these three personalities. Okay, so keeping these three aims and objectives, the counter reformation, movement was started, but the lost popularity of Christianity, they did not get it back. Okay, as a conclusion, if we see, because of this movement, okay, what the lost popularity, the Christianity was there before the start of Reformation movements, that they did not get it back. But both the religion, so that is Protestant and as well as the Roman, so these peoples, 50-50 percentage of their religion started to balance. Okay, they started to balance the religion, but they could not get back the lost popularity of Christianity, but both the religions started to spread equally, and both the religions started to balance equally. Okay, that is the one counter reformation movement, so which we are having. So apart from these changes, few changes had taken up in this reformation movement. So that we are going to see as an impact of the counter reformation movement. So next, if you see the impact, okay, the counter reformation. So as already I said, When Counter-Reformation movement, when it was started, the lost popularity of Christianity, they did not get it back. But the balancing both the religions, so that started to take place. But it had some impacts, some changes after, the Counter-Reformation movement. Okay, if you see the changes, like first and foremost, European rulers, because in European countries, many of the European countries assumed power as an head of the church. Usually, head of the church was, religious leader called Pope before the Reformation movement starts. And the administration also was looked after by the spiritual leader, that is a Pope. But after the Reformation movement, the European rulers, the individual personalities, they started to take the head of in charge of the church as well as the government. That means here government is, in the sense, it's nothing but administration. Okay, so the administration and as well as the control over the church. Okay, that was being given to the particular concept called the rulers. Okay, in many of the European countries. That means here the rulers, when they started to exist, the spiritual leaders, they lost their popularities. Their position started to completely to go down after the Reformation movement. Okay. Then second very important thing, thing is exist of one government, one leader. Okay. Now, for example, if there is a place, or if there is, it is an England, there should be only one government, one leader. There should not be, the Pope, the clergy, bishops. No. One particular place, there should be presence of one administration, and that administration should be looked after by one leader. This theory concept started to take place. Okay. There should be one culture, one historical, one territory, and one language. This was the significance of the nations. So many nations started to take place. Now, for example, one country means it will have one culture. Okay, one culture will be there, one historical background will be there, one territory it is called, and one language will be there. This will form one nation. When it is one nation represented, that one nation should have only one government and one leader. This concept started to take place, which is right now we are having it. One country means one leader to the country, one government. Okay, so that's the one concept started to take place. Then the third impact is drain of wealth from Christian countries ended. Okay, wherever the Christian countries were there, in the form of tax, the spiritual leader called a Pope, he started collecting a wealth, and that wealth and all should be submitted to Rome. Why to the Rome means, because Rome is the place where in the Rome there is a city called Vatican City. So there the Pope office, or the living of a Pope, will take place. His living will be in Rome. So that is the reason whatever the wealth is taken from the Christian countries, all that wealth is being given to Rome, that is to the Pope. So that came to an end. So that's the one aspect we are having. Then when the rulers, when they started to take up the government, or they started to rule, trade, agriculture, industries started to flourish. Before that, what? Only taxes. Taxes were, flourishing, or different types of taxes were collected by the people. So that collection of taxes got reduced. Instead of that, trade was encouraged, agriculture was encouraged, and industries started to take up. So this is a one more change. And the last one is welfare of the people was a primary concern. Before Reformation movement, people were not kept in concern. People were not at all treated properly by the Pope. But when one government, one leader, when they started to take, the leaders, they started to give, the primary first importance to the people. So that is the reason leaders were elected, government was formed, one nation started to exist. Okay, so this is the impact of a counter-reformation movement which we are having it. So here we end the lesson of modern world. So once again you go through all the concepts like Aronized and the Reformation. So once you revise it and you go through it, very important topics which we have discussed now, and you should know it about the modern world. So that's about the modern world which we are having. So next class we will move with the next the chapter. So here we end this particular lesson called the modern world. So once you revise it, so and get ready for the test. So I will be giving another 2 weeks. So I will be giving a test on this particular lesson. So get ready for the test. If you have any doubts, let me know. Thank you.